Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We rented movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained as pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the feedback bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweetie are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast.
What is that? A teddy bear?
No. It is my soul.
I hope you don't lose it.
So do I. I'm Toby, Chief.
I'm Joe Banks. This is Patricia Granamore. You speak English?
I have learned. You came to stop the anger of the Woo?
Yeah.
Tonight we will have a big feast. And then at the end of the feast, you will climb to the top of the big Woo and you will jump in, okay?
Okay.
Guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about movies that shaped their childhood. I'm Sweetie with an I-E.
And I'm Sweetie with a Y.
Hello.
Hi. I feel like it's been forever.
Forever and a day. Because we went to Ireland, but now we're back.
And we pre-recorded one so that we would have an episode every week, just like Norms. But that means for us, we haven't podcasted in like 2 weeks.
Whoa.
2.5 weeks?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not good
so.
at that math. What is that?
Yeah,
but
that's a crazy long time for us to be on break. So like,
Woo.
I don't even know if we're going to like remember how to do this.
What's happening?
Like, what are we
I
even
don't know
doing
what to
here?
do. But, okay. So the movie we picked today, should we just say it?
Yeah, let's just jump
All
right into the volcano.
Volcano. It's
Joe versus the volcano.
Starring Tom Hanks.
And Meg Ryan.
Their first movie together, right? Or no,
No,
or was it
Sleepless in Seattle was 1989.
Oh, it was?
I feel like.
I always thought this was the first one.
No. So Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan formed what became basically like a 3-movie partnership.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Sleepless in Seattle, great chemistry. Even though really, if you think about it, that movie, they're not really on screen for that long. No. So I don't know if you can even really say that. Then they made this movie. Then there came You've Got Mail, which I think is the best.
I think it's the best. I think a lot of people like Sleepless in Seattle and think that's the best, but I
love that movie too. But if you're really talking about them as a pair, like I said, they're really like not together. They're in that movie for like one scene together, and she like sees him from afar. And then there's this one, which is really the outlier, the one that like a lot of people don't know. I bet don't even know about. Like, do not even know this movie exists.
I mean, they might know it exists. They've just probably never seen it. I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, this movie was on TV like, all the time.
I know we say that a lot, but like this one was on all the time.
But the weird thing about this one is that we would only catch it when they were on the trunks.
Oh my God, I wrote that in my notes.
So how many times did we randomly turn on the TV and this was on?
Yeah.
But it was at that part. So I had no idea there was this whole other beginning part and that the very end is just the volcano and the trunks part.
Yep. So the beginning of this movie, it's like I'd never seen it. I'm like, what is this weird place that Dan Hedaya guy is in this movie again? That guy is in every movie between like 1990 and 1997. Did that guy never stop working?
No, he must be so rich.
Holy shitballs. And he always plays an asshole, which is like, good for you, Dan Hedaya.
It's always a part.
Yeah, same. So I saw it all the time on the TV. Basically, it's when he was like leaving on the boat, I think. So I remember like all the boat part. I remember the fishing part. Like, we'll go into this. But like, dude, the couple of beginning scenes, I did not remember that Meg Ryan played the other character, so not like the two sisters. It was like a whole brand new movie for me in the beginning, and it is bleak. It's bleak in the beginning.
Well, it's bleak and it's just like weird. Like, I mean, the whole movie is weird. And I guess I didn't understand that when I was little. Like, I really just thought it was like a sweet love story, and like,
well, because the part on the boat is not as weird as the beginning.
Right. No, but the stuff on the island definitely is, and like,
but it's kind of fun.
It's just
Island, like, you know, island fun. You're like, ooh, fun native people. Like,
yeah, but there's definitely like creepiness / weirdness going on in the beginning that makes me think, like, is there another meaning to this movie that like I don't know about? Like, does it mean something else? Yeah. Is he just having these visions and he's just creating the same woman like over and over again? And he's just like a secret life of Walter Mitty thing where he's just like such a miserable life that he like dreams of this other.
Is that the plot of that?
Well, he like goes in his head and like
it reminded me a little of like Becoming John Malkovich or something.
Yeah.
Like that like level of what is the directors who do those ones? That and like
Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah. Those sort of like weird movies that yes, like everything is a symbol. There's all this sort of like deep dialogue. Like when you read the trivia, there's like tons of symbols, and like the whole beginning scene, there's like all these allusions to like what's going to happen on the island. Mm-hmm. The thing with the lightning bolt was like the symbol for the factory, and then it's the lightning bolt that hits the boat, and then it's the pathway up the volcano. Mm-hmm. So the guy seems to be really into symbolism, the writer. And I was writer-director, the same guy. He has 3 names. I can't remember what they are. But I agree. As a kid, I just thought this movie was like really quirky and like interesting and fun. It's not really that funny. And the beginning was like, again, kind of slow and bleak and depressing. Yeah. And there's these long stretches where there's just like a whole song will play, and it's just like Tom Hanks like lumbering around in like a sad mullet. And I was like, when I was watching this, I was like, why did I like this?
And he's wearing like a weird suit and a hat, and you're like, wait, is this Dragnet? And did we pick the wrong movie by accident? Right. Like, what's happening? But yeah, I had no idea. It was so strange.
And then it's like once the character's attitude improves, because obviously the whole point is sort of like, point of the movie is sort of like live like it's like your last day on earth kind of a thing. You know, live like there's no tomorrow, right? And so he kind of does that for the first time. And then once his mood improves, I feel like the movie like gets more energy and gets lighter, and there's more color, you know, and that's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like this is a movie you should like study in like a film class or something, because there's like so many layers to it that like
there's something going on.
Again, as a child, was not aware of. Why would you be? But like, I just thought it was like, woo, like fun on a boat. Look at this like island and like the guy's little doll, and look, the volcano spills him out. Oh my god, it's the trunks. Yeah. Like, yeah. That's my summary of the movie.
I mean, I didn't think I'd be like thinking about this movie like long and hard, but now I feel like I need to just like sit in a dark room and think about it.
Yeah. And it was like so sweet, and so like a sweet little love story.
Sweet, but I just feel like there's just something like this is just an iceberg, and it's just like the tip of the iceberg.
We have it on for Voodoo for
study it
30 days or whatever the hell that is.
Are there any Joe versus the Volcano scholars out there? Yeah. Please contact us. Stat. Thank you.
Stat.
But yeah, so Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, Dan Hedaya, old man.
Okay, so there's also randomly like a lot of very famous people in this that like you're just like, whoa. It makes you go, wait, isn't that? Because sometimes they're in heavy makeup, sometimes you're like, and they appear for like a second, but they're like pretty famous. Okay, so as we said, Dan Hedaya is the jerk boss with like an interesting Wakatori or something, is Mr. Wakatori. Interesting name. Ossie Davis, pretty famous African-American actor, older man. Carol Kane was the hairdresser who cuts off the mullet for literally like 2.5 seconds.
Yeah,
if you blinked, you would have missed her.
Yeah, one line.
Lloyd Bridges. Rich guy who, you know, kind of cons them into jumping into the volcano. Again, really short bit part, but hilarious. Love that guy. Abe Vigoda as Toby, interesting name, leader of the Wampani Woo tribe. Yep. What do they call them? The Waponis. And then this one I didn't remember at all. Nathan Lane as like the jester, even kind of.
I don't think we knew
person
who he was
of the tribe
or what he looked like, at least. Because
yeah, true.
And then Unsolved Mysteries guy.
Oh my god! And then Robert Stack, I believe that guy's name is. Who, if you close your eyes, basically his entire scene is just an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. Like you're creeped out.
What do you think is wrong with you?
Yeah.
What is this?
No.
Is there a mystery?
I expected him to go on March 28th, 1995. Like Tina Smith went for a walk.
Have you or someone you know seen this person? Contact us at this number. Update.
Oh my god, that show was so creepy. I can't even. It like literally gave me nightmares for like my entire
I
life.
rewatched a couple episodes. It wasn't as creepy as I think I need to get to like the creepier episodes. But
Ready?
like,
here's the music.
and like the reenactments are just so hilarious that like it's just like how could we ever be creeped out by that? I don't know.
I mean, I'd
It's
like to
great,
watch
though.
the ones that were like the con men ones because I always thought that was like those were
Oh,
really
yeah.
interesting. The like missing women ones, I think
I
always,
love I liked
freaked
the
me
ghost
fuck
ones.
out.
Those ones really freaked
those
me
are
out
good too. Yeah, those are good
for sure.
for sure.
Okay. So, anyways, I think that now is the perfect opportunity to maybe dive a little deeper, jump into the volcano, and get blown out. Maybe.
Shh, don't give it away. Spoiler.
Hey,
It's time for the sweetie synopsis. Yeah.
sweeties.
Take me to the volcano.
Woo! Joe Banks is a long-haired, mulleted, miserable man who works in a surgical tools factory as a marketing librarian.
It was advertising.
Advertising librarian.
I don't even know.
Why do we have this job? What is this?
I have no
So,
response to that.
The whole beginning scene is like all these miserable people getting out of their cars and like walking in this like mucky desert place filled with mud. And then like walking in. It's just it's so
it takes
surreal.
them a while to get to the plant. That was like a really creepy scene. It like lasted forever.
But that's why I'm like, is this real life? Like,
Yeah.
was this something else the whole time? Did he like kill himself and this is like his mind playing a trick on us? I don't know. But he goes into this factory place. He hates it. His boss is an asshole. It's like horrible fluorescent lights. Like they basically are working in like a morgue is what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
Miserable. He's miserable. And he's sick all the time. So he's like, I gotta go to the doctor. I feel terrible. He looks terrible. He feels terrible. So he goes to the doctor. And this guy's like, listen, there's nothing wrong with you. Except you have a brain cloud. And Joe Banks is like, what's a brain cloud? And he's like, well, it's like this black mass hovering over your brain and
inside
your brain, and you only have 5 months to live, and blah 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 blah.
But you're gonna feel totally fine.
Yeah,
and be
but
in
nothing's
perfect
gonna be
shape.
wrong with you. Like nothing's
And-
wrong with you now.
Yeah,
He's like,
and
you're
it's-
still a hypochondriac.
Yeah, but you're a hypochondriac. So like, even though nothing's wrong with you, like, good thing you thought something was wrong with you because we never would have found it because there's no symptoms. You know, so. This, at first is like upsetting to him, but now it's sort of in a weird way has like given his life new purpose because he like doesn't have a purpose to live. I don't know. I feel like, and then you learn that he was like a fireman for a while, or like his first job was a fireman, and he like had a lot of close calls, and I guess that's what turned him into a hypochondriac because he had all these close brushes with death, and then once he wasn't doing it anymore, he like still like
Why wasn't he
resorted
doing it
to
anymore?
that. Yeah,
How
they
old
never
is he?
say
Like
that.
what? How do you?
Yeah,
When do you
that
stop
was
being a fireman?
I don't know why that
I don't
like
know.
part was included at all. But yeah. Anyway,
Maybe
so
it's
now
something to do with the volcano because it's like fire and it's
that's
like
why he could.
I don't know,
survive
just like
it?
a link. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
yeah.
Okay, what if
Weird
what
plot.
if Joe Banks actually died saving somebody in a fire, and this whole movie is just like the splits the thing?
I
Yeah.
think it's trying to trick you like that. So anyway, so he's like, "Fuck this life. I'm only living for 5 months. Like, I'm out of here." So he goes to his job, and there's this great scene where he just is kind of like fucking with the boss. He's like, "I quit." Like, packs up his desk and then decides, has always wanted to ask Dee Dee, well, the first character played by Meg Ryan, the one woman in the office, if she wants to go out for dinner. So he has a new lease on life. I mean, it's like, he doesn't have any money and he can't go anywhere. The doctor's like, you should go on a big vacation because you're going to be dead soon. He's like, well, I blew all my money on these fucking lab tests. And you guys, you know how that goes, right? Because insurance doesn't cover your damn lab tests, even though that's probably the only thing you even use your fucking insurance for.
That's the best. What's
And
that
rant.
part in Kimmy Schmidt where Titus is like,
Yes.
"What
The Quest Diagnostic House. Have you ever seen that Kimmy Schmidt where like this was classic me. This is why that show resonated with me so bad sometimes. I would get those Quest Diagnostic bills, be like, pay that later. And they just keep sending you them and sending you them. So Titus and Kimmy Schmidt, like papers, maches, like an entire Barbie dream house of Quest Diagnostic, like invoices and bills, which I was like, oh shit, like that was my life.
Classic. But you guys, if you don't pay those for like 2 years, they send you like a scary
That's
lawyer
when you
letter.
pay. Yep, because that's what happened to me, guys. And they're like, "This is the law office of like Schmidt and Schmidt, and if like you don't pay this money, we're coming after you." I was like, "Shit!" So I
Lesson
paid it.
learned,
It
lesson
was only
learned.
like $70
I know.
too. I'm
Get
like,
over
I'm
it.
such a loser, but you know, I pay those right away right now. I learned my lesson.
So proud of you.
Yep.
What about your tax bill?
Hey, what is this? Shh, quiet.
Inquiry? Anyways, yeah. So he quits his job. Did that already happen? Did you
Yep.
say
Quits his job, asks Dee Dee out on a date,
Oh, yeah.
and they go on this date, and he's a new man, and she actually doesn't know why because he hasn't told her yet that he only has 5 months to live. So this lovely day at this Mexican restaurant, they kiss, they're holding hands when the mariachi band sings them a love song, and they get back to his house and they're like hooking up, and then he finally tells her like, "Oh, like I only have 5 months to live, but like let's work it out later. I want to bone you." And she's like, I don't think I want to bone a guy who's like gonna be dead in five months. Like I can't handle it. So she bails on him.
Yeah. What's with that? I mean, perfect opportunity. If you don't like him, you don't have to like
That'd be
deal with
ideal
it
for
for
me.
too
but-
long, you know?
No, I mean it's kind of creepy, and I think she had feelings for him, and she didn't want to be sad. You know, form a relationship with him, and then be sad when he was dead.
Yeah.
I know. So this gives them another kind of lease on life, being like, well, I definitely don't have anybody, and I can't really form lasting relationships with people if I only have a couple months to live, right? So I think he gets a little bit down about it. But then who shows up at his house?
This wacky old guy. What's his name? Wiggle Whammer?
Yeah.
Whammer?
Hornblower.
Wiggle? Something with a W. And he's rich and he's got a cane and he's like walking in. He just like seems very wacky. And he's like, this place is a dump. It's a dump. And he's like, I have a proposition for you. He's like, I know your doctor. He told me all about your illness, which, okay.
Should
Red
we-
flag
Two
number
together.
one.
Yeah.
Where is HIPAA? Where is your patient confidentiality? I don't buy this. So anyways, somehow this doctor told this guy about this man's illness, and he's going to offer him a bunch of credit cards if he takes a plane to Los Angeles and then gets on a boat and then goes to this teeny little island called the island's called Wampani Woo is the island.
Island with the big volcano.
What are the
That's
people
it stands for? They call them Waponis.
Ponies.
Yeah.
Okay. You go there and then you jump in the volcano. Apparently, there's all these minerals that like makes this guy's product work and that he needs. And the Waponis like offered to give him the minerals if he gets somebody to sacrifice it to the volcano.
Because usually a member of the tribe does,
But
right?
nobody wants to because
Because-
they like orange soda too much and they don't want to give that up.
And they really do.
So Joe's like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, what else do I have to lose? So he has a fun time buying all these clothes, buys like 4 new trunks.
Meets like a sage of a limousine driver who
my
like gives him
God.
all this advice, helps him go shopping. He buys him a tux for saying, helping him out. Takes him to his hairdresser so they chop off that nasty mullet.
God.
And like,
Thank
let
God.
me tell you, if this movie more than anything else proves that people with mullets look just 20 times worse.
I mean-
you cut that off, you're a brand
just-
new man.
It's so upsetting, and Tom Hanks in that mullet is so upsetting.
So
and you know who what it reminded me of is Bill Murray in Scrooge.
Yes.
When he's like, they flash back, and you're like, why are you a mullet? And it makes me hate the character a lot. Like, I think that's why I had a hard time with the beginning of the movie. And I think that's on purpose,
I don't
obviously.
even think Tom Hanks had to like really act that depressed. Like his hair
Yeah,
did all the
it just,
acting
like,
for him.
It was so sad. It was the
And
saddest
it wasn't
hair.
even like his color because I feel like it was like black and like
wasn't it a wig?
yes,
Yeah.
but like they didn't like really match it to his hair that well, and it was clearly not the texture. Like because Tom Hanks is kind of like Afro-y, kind of like he's
Yeah.
kind of like he's not Jewish, but like a Jewfro, and yeah, oh god, it was just like so nasty.
Yeah.
So he looks like first of all. Like how we all know Tom Hanks, and he like immediately lightens his appearance and his mood, and you're like,
The world is right again. So then he goes to L.A. He meets the rich guy's daughter, Angelica.
oh wait, did you go? What he bought with all the credit cards and stuff?
Well, like clothes, trunks,
What's the big thing?
trunks.
What about these trunks?
He just bought 4 big trunks. I don't think we need to get into the deets, but
Well, it's kind of important because he goes to this like it's this huge scene. It takes forever where he like goes to this trunk shop and it's like there's like 5 trunks available. It almost looks like a funeral home. So they're all like laid out and like looking and like
It probably is a funeral home in that like weird spin-off thing I was talking about, and he's picking out his coffin.
That's why he's always traveling with those, because he's like traveling in the coffins in the trunks.
The afterlife?
Yeah. So they're like the most luxury trunks. They're watertight. Remember this will be important later. And they're these beautiful, beautiful steerage trunks. You don't really like see those anymore, because like who can carry that stuff?
Harry Potter.
Yeah. Well, there's no wheels on them. You have to carry them around.
What I don't get about
They're for
Harry
rich people.
Potter though is so that like even though they're witches and wizards and they have like magical powers and stuff, why are they like so intent on keeping things like so old fashioned? Like why do they have old school trunks and they have to write with quills and ink? Like what is this?
It's Britain. They're always into
But
that tradition.
that was just a question I had. Okay, continue.
So anyway, he buys these really fancy trucks. He buys 4 of them, and because he's like brings all this shit to the island, even though he's like literally gonna be alive like a day.
He's like that weird family who goes camping and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they're like, no, not the weird family, the main family, Russ,
with all the stuff.
Russ, yeah, and they're like, why do you need the microwave?
Like, did
why
he
are you
think he
bringing
was
all
going to
this
be
stuff?
hanging out on the island much longer than he was?
I don't
Apparently,
know.
like
I think he just wanted to
chilling.
spend money because
Yeah.
he had all the money. So like, what can I buy?
Yeah. So he buys like all this random shit. He buys like golf clubs. He buys like an umbrella. Like, why do you need an umbrella? And these all come in handy like later. So then he flies to LA, and then who picks him up but Meg Ryan number 2, aka Angelica, who has red hair and the funniest accent I've ever heard.
And she
You do
just
it?
no, it's just gonna come out like Long Island medium. It's just like, oh, I have nothing to say to that thing.
But she like accentuates everything
that
and
she's
it's like,
saying.
want to hear me read a poem? Like she's just like, oh, you. Like I don't know.
it's
She's
pretty
the
good.
weirdest voice.
She's a self-proclaimed flibberty gibbet. What is that? Flibberty giblet?
A flippity gibbet, a wisp of a whisper cloud. Oh, how do you solve a problem like Maria?
Yeah.
How do you hold the moonbeam in your heart?
Thank you for retreating
That song's
us
really
to that
high.
song.
Those nuns really singing the soprano.
Sure. So they have like a grand old time, but she's kind of weird and like is like, do you ever think about killing yourself? I don't know. It gets a little dark, and then she sees him off at the boat, and he like gives her a kiss on the cheek. Nothing funny happens, but yeah, sends her off, and then her half sister is there at the dock. Her name is Patricia. Hello, Patricia, and she's the one that's going to be taking him on the yacht to the island.
Yep, and she's
And
blonde.
This is like classic Meg Ryan. This is like
that's what I
real
love about
Meg
it.
Ryan. Yeah.
Because it's like Meg Ryan. The first one is almost like unrecognizable Meg Ryan.
It was like I was like, whoa, like mousy brown hair,
mousy brown wig, which you
Meg
should never
Ryan.
have brown hair. That's someone who I don't think needs to have brown hair.
She was sweet. She seems really
Cute, but
funny.
she has a funny little Long Island accent. She's like very meek and mild and sweet. Then Angelica, red hair, kind of crazy like eye makeup. She's an artist and she's a poet. Want to hear one of my poems?
Supposedly.
So she's funny, and then so then you have what's her name? Patricia, who is classic Meg Ryan, as Sweetie says. Long blonde hair, wears a lot of white clothes, is adorable, but this one is like a little bit. I'd say Patricia's kind of cynical.
She's tough.
She's tough. Tough as
like
nails.
sails the ship, man. She's
the
the
skipper.
captain. She's
They call her Skipper.
Oh, well, that's like, is that like a yacht thing?
I think so.
Okay.
maybe.
Who knows?
We're
As
just
you
making shit
know,
up.
we're not great at boats or airplane stuff.
Yeah.
As evidenced by our Top Gun episode. Good times. So
both, I'll say both Angelica and Patricia do not know the reason that Tom Hanks is, or Joe
I thought
is.
Patricia did.
Nope. So she didn't know. So they don't know that he's jumping into the volcano. They know he's just sailing to this island.
Okay. So they go off to sea, and it's a grand old time. They fish. They have this beautiful like dinner on the deck under the stars. Seems really fun for a while.
They're drinking cognac. They're getting to know one another, and like again, like Joe's like a new person. He's like, kind of flirty and they both seem like really interesting together. They have these good talks, and Patricia, you learn, is like has really difficult trouble with her dad and never wanted to work for him, but he like promised her this boat if he did this. She did this one favor for him, and she feels really bad that she like got sucked into it, but she wants the boat so bad because she basically like hates people and wants to like sail away. She always says, "I don't
sail away.
I want to sail away from like anything that man made or something like that." takes me away like I always heard it. I heard it could be.
Are we singing the NSYNC version
Yes.
or the? Okay, just checking, just making sure. Okay, a lot of sailing songs out
Come
there.
sail away, come sail away, come sail away.
Is that
with
different than
me.
the one? Oh, that's and then the one that I was singing was Enya.
Yeah.
Sail away,
Sail away, sail away.
But there's a lot of truth to those songs, you guys, because sailing away is like a peaceful thing, unless you sail into a typhoon and then your boat explodes. So,
What's a typhoon, sweetie?
well, I
Is
mean,
it technically a hurricane,
yeah,
but in the
ocean.
Pacific Ocean. No.
Oh.
Pacific Ocean, or does it have to do with like longitude or
Must be
latitude?
Pacific, I don't know. It's scary. Wow, nightmares. I mean, this movie pretty much taught me that nothing good ever happens on a boat. So I try to stay away from boats as much as possible because I'm just like, nothing good's gonna happen. There's gonna
It's
be
scary.
a big
Once
storm.
you're out there and you just have to ride the wave.
Like, I'm just
forget
not in
it.
I'm not into that
I mean,
life.
have you seen the movie The Perfect Storm? It's like the most terrifying movie
Little
in
Mermaid?
the word.
Titanic?
The Little Mermaid. Titanic was an
all
iceberg.
bad things. All bad things. Whatever. Anyways, so Patricia gets like knocked off into the sea by like the mast.
Well,
thing.
that part was kind of funny because it's like they have this really romantic kiss, and she's like has their little rain hat on. He like folds the rain hat back, and it's like her little Meg Ryan little nose like sticking out. And then he kisses her, and they're like, oh, and they look at her, and then there goes the jib or whatever that fucking thing's called, knocks her over into the water, and it's like basically she's this like
It was
big
so
yellow
sad.
raincoat, so it just looks like this raincoat like flying through the air and like falling into the ocean. But then, because Joe's like, well, what I got to lose? I'm going to die anyway. Jumps in after her. No, with not even a life preserver.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I didn't see any life preservers on on that ship. What was happening? What's happening there? Why
No
isn't
life
everybody
jackets?
wearing a life
I
jacket
know.
right now?
It was weird.
Ugh, anyway, so he finds Patricia somehow. Sweet and I were saying, how do you find someone that when they go under the water in a typhoon
And
with
you're
the
just
waves,
diving? Like
and it's
they're
just
like they're like a stone sinking. They're gonna sink immediately. I don't know why
I
they
know,
like
it's very
float
confusing.
around in the where you can dive for them.
Yeah, yikes. So he saves her, and then a bolt of lightning hits the boat,
A
explodes,
bolt of lightning.
and then the boat like goes down. Everyone's dead, except for Joe and Patricia.
We're going down.
And wouldn't you
down.
know it? But
Just singing all the songs.
you are. But the trunks pop out of the
Sugar,
waves.
Going down, swinging. That's the one I was
We're
singing.
done with that. We're done with that. We've moved on to the trunks coming out of the waves. Hooray! We are saved.
All right,
Because
for Hollywood
Oh
and
my
the trunks.
I can't with you. Get out. No more of that. You find 25 cents every time.
Okay.
So, as luck would have it, Patricia had this like giant rope attached to her, and so Joe ties the trunks together. Patricia's knocked out. Luckily, he can still access what is inside the trunks, and luckily, he bought all that shit like an umbrella, a scarf with goldfish on it.
That was a lucky purchase.
Thank God.
Yep. A radio, golf clubs to pass the time,
Shaving kit.
a bar in a violin case.
Several bottles of Pellegrino.
Well, it was like Pellegrino and a couple bottles of wine.
Okay.
So
So he like just like teeny little amounts of the water and like puts it in Patricia's mouth. She looks great, by the way. She's like glowing in the sun, no sunburn. She has the umbrella over her, but still, it's like she looks great. And then Joe's slowly deteriorating because he forgets to drink any water for himself. And so he's obviously having some issues.
he basically looks like what he eventually looks like in Castaway. I mean, we've all seen that Tom Hanks before.
Ew, it's so gross.
Wilson.
It's just like red and flaky and like it's not
hallucinating.
It's not
He does a good job of that though. I really believed it. I saw like crazy desperation, like dying of thirst in his eyes. He really did it well.
Sure. So he passes out and then he wakes up and he hears Patricia being like, Joe, didn't you drink any water for yourself? And guys, she, again, I'm saying this again, she's like a glowing angel. Her skin is fucking flawless. Like, what?
She was under the scarf with the goldfishes and the umbrella.
Okay, whatever.
And was drinking the Pellegrino.
So yeah, so he tells her what happened, and then we see like a telescope view, and the Wampanis spot him. Somehow they drifted right to where they needed to go, you guys, and landed on the island. They come to greet them. There's a big hooray party thing. They meet the chief. He explains what's going to happen. He's like, we're going to have a big dinner, and then we're going to walk up to the volcano, and then you're going to jump in it. Okay? Okay. Good.
Pretty
Then
simple.
That's it. And then they get like a nice bath and like spa treatments, which for Joe include getting hit with like fish while he's naked, and then like
People suck on his toes.
smushing bananas on his face.
Banana facial, octopus facial,
Toe sucking.
toe sucking. They blew like ashes in his face.
Lots of weird things. And Patricia gets like actually nice things like flour, water, and beautiful
hand
stuff.
massage,
Yep.
foot massage.
And then they get like dressed up and they go to this dinner, and then Patricia's like, "You're really gonna jump in the volcano?" And he's like, "Yeah, I have to." Like, blah blah blah. I'm gonna die. He tells her he's gonna die, right? When they're
Yeah,
on the
'cause-
when they're on the trunks.
Yeah. So at this point, but not what he has.
Oh,
He doesn't
right.
say
Yeah.
what his terminal.
He just said,
illness
yeah, it's terminal
is,
illness.
so, yeah.
So yeah, but she's like, "Don't jump in the volcano. I love you. I've fallen in love with you." And then she makes the chief marry them, and now they're married. And then she decides to jump in the volcano with
Right.
him. So they grab hands. and
Rather
they-
die together than be alone.
like Romeo and Juliet. Well, kind
Yes!
of, but not. But yeah, so they jump in, and then pow, the volcano spits them out again, blows up. They fly out into the ocean, but man, the island, it's gone. All the Wampanis dies.
Did that happen so fast? Is that like
I
a
know.
volcano
I don't
like
think so.
erupted
I
with
don't
like
think that's-
on Hawaii? It would
No.
just be like gone in seconds?
I don't think so. That didn't seem right. Only further evidence to the point that this is all Joe's death dream.
Yeah.
Something is up. Some ain't stirring the Kool-Aid.
I love that expression.
So there they are on the ocean again, and they're like, "Well, great, we made it, and we're married, and we're in love, like, hooray!" But we're in the middle of the ocean, and there's no island or land nearby, so we're gonna drown. Guess again, the trunks are back, bitches.
My coffins are here.
So
But they still don't have any water or anything, though. Though maybe orange
there's
soda
still
cans will
Pellegrino in
like
there.
wash up.
He didn't like unpack his trunks.
Yeah, but I think that was the one bottle of Pellegrino, or
I
else
saw
like
2 bottles.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so then the trunks pop up, but then they sit on it for a while, and they're having like this little moment, and he tells her, you know, "Oh, I still have like a terminal illness, and it's this thing called a brain cloud." And she's like, "What? Like, what is a brain cloud?" And she's trying to like wrap her head around it. And he's like, "Maybe I should get it." Now he's like realizing maybe he should get a second opinion. And she's like, "You didn't get a second opinion?" He's like, "Oh, like doctor, whatever." And then she figures out that the doctor's her father's doctor, and he's like her father is his only patient. So then how did Tom Hanks end up going there? I don't know. And then figures out that it was a scam, that like they just like found some loser who didn't have any family or friends, and they could tell him that he had a terminal illness so that he would want to jump into a volcano.
How did Tom Hanks, like, he made a doctor, like, he actively made an appointment with the doctor.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how could that guy have been?
Unless
his only patient was the rich guy. No,
Right.
because how did Tom Hanks find him?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's something we're missing. We're missing
Yeah.
something. But yeah, crazy. I forgot about that. I forgot that it was all a scam. For some reason, I thought that he was just like, "You're right. It's a dumb thing. It doesn't exist," and he just like went
No,
to go
it was
on
a
in his
con.
life.
It was
But
a
all
long con.
I mean, it's pretty
Or
short,
short
con,
con.
but yeah. And then that's it. And then they're like, "Yay! So I'm not gonna die." But like, I wonder where we'll end up on this trunk. And then that's the end. And then it's like they lived happily ever after. Like the end. Did they? Where do you think they ended up?
Do you think they had sex on those trunks?
Well, I was wondering why didn't they have sex on those trunks? Like, it's your honeymoon, you're in love.
No one's around.
But also, oh man, I mean, like, it's romantic and stuff for like 2 seconds, but then you're like, wait, you have to like take a shit or something? That's so awkward. Literally
yeah, but do
nowhere
you because
to
you're not
go.
eating any food, so you're gonna have to
How do you
poop.
take a shit on a bunch of trunks? Do you just like
Lean
go
your
over the
butt
side?
over the, on the
So
back.
uncomfortable. What if you fall in?
It's like a squatty potty,
Do you
but
have
like
something to
over the
hold on
water.
to?
Yeah, hold on to your buddy.
Oh my god, that just seems so awful. And like,
There's no privacy on the
when
trunks.
she gets her period, like, forget it.
That's why
There's
she should
so
get,
many
she should
bad
get pregnant
things are gonna
right away.
happen. Okay, having a baby on the trunks, forget it.
Someone's gonna save them.
I hope so. I wonder where they ended up though. So if this island is like Polynesian, so it's like Hawaii-ish, right? Wouldn't they just
South
like
Pacific.
drift to Hawaii? Oh,
Yeah. Hopefully they'll drift somewhere, but who knows? I mean, I'm sure they got found and they had like a lovely life, or maybe they dated for a while and they're like, wow, like this isn't the same when we thought like you were gonna jump into a volcano. I mean, you know.
You don't think they make it?
I don't know, man.
They jumped into a volcano together. So
She was kind of dark, and he wasn't dark anymore. He had a lot of optimism and hope.
She was cool. I think she was cool. What she loved being in the ocean and being under the sky with the stars.
I think they improved each other. Were one of those couples that they improved each other. Them knowing each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure. Okay. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple movie when you get down to it, and it's like really very creative and unique. I don't know like how well this did in theaters. I feel like it would be one of those movies because I feel like I remember the previews, like, and they really made it seem like this hilarious movie. And you're like, okay, Tom Hanks in it, he's pretty funny, and they showed all these like really funny parts. But like, I think I'd walk into it being like, what movie did I just see?
It is hilarious, but in that really like dark, dry kind of humor. Right? Like there's even the beginning parts that are like pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's just like, if I can just imagine a lot of people like maybe like old people walking out of this or something, or like our grandfather being like, this is dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not a movie for everyone, I will definitely say.
Definitely not. But I really enjoyed it, and it was just so funny to see the whole thing. I feel like my life's complete a little bit now.
I know, me too. Pumped about it.
The missing pieces are there. Okay, so the parts that I remembered specifically, again, these are the trunks, the storm, that kind of stuff. It's all that. So number one is when the fishing scene. So as you recall, I have a fear of sharks and things coming out of the water. So this scene obviously scared the shit out of me when I was little, because I was not expecting, like when somebody's pulling a fishing rod out and there's like a fish on the other end. Ever since this movie, I always imagine that it's going to be like a giant shark with a scary mouth being like, ah.
But it's like a Muppet hammerhead
Oh my God, it's
shark.
so funny. It's like the weirdest fucking thing. They pull out this hammerhead shark and it has a mouth on it that's like, it's not a human mouth, but it's not a shark mouth either. I don't know how to explain it.
You know those hammerheads they just have like a little circle of teeth. They're not like a huge
But it was like bigger than, I don't know. It looked wrong, but hilarious.
Because it was a puppet.
I know it was a puppet. It just, whatever. But
even the better part of that scene is like Tom Hanks is like amazing physical comedy. I feel like we talked about this in the Money Pit, right? But like Academy Award winner, what is it? 3 times over at this point, 2 times over at least. Tom Hanks, the guy can fucking act. He's amazing. But you really forget there's several movies where Tom Hanks, especially early in his career, was like a very much a physical comedian doing these sort of funny movies. And he is amazing at it. So this one, I think, highlighted in this scene, and then probably the one we'll talk about next, when he's doing the fishing scene, he's like flipping out, and the way he's like moving the rod is so funny. And then like everyone's trying to help him, because like for the whole beginning of the scene, like Patricia's catching like all the fish, and like the weird, I forgot who that lady is, Dunbar, whatever the fuck her name is. Like she just keeps giving him these weird looks, and he has like butterfingers or sticky fingers. He like can't can't untangle the fishing line. Like he can't do it. So you're like waiting for him to catch a fish, and then he finally gets one. It's basically like the scene in Jaws where they're like, "Hook me in, chief." I mean, it's like that, but he's not hooked in.
And it's a dinky little fishing pole that like would have snapped in half in a second. It's great though. But yeah, I always remembered that. And then the storm at sea, again, very traumatic. It's so scary when you see like I hate those giant waves that like crash over the whole boat. Like I'm pretty sure I have nightmares that like involve that in some way.
Yeah,
like,
well the big waves that are bigger than like so much bigger than the boat, where like if those crash, I don't even know what happens to a boat when that. I mean, does it just flip over?
Crash. What do you mean?
Does it break a boat? Like the force of the water?
It seems like just the waves. You just get wet. I don't know,
man.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I love the sea, but that's too much for me.
No, thank you. And then the trunks obviously are like a central focus point of this movie.
Yeah. So when we were like thinking about doing this movie, I was like, all the scenes started flashing in my head that I remember, and I Googled this one immediately, and I just sent a clip to Sweetie here on GChat, and we both watched it. Did you watch it or no? You didn't?
I don't think I watched it.
Hurt my feelings.
Well, I don't remember this. Are you sure?
Yeah. I was like, I love this scene. I was like, this makes me love Tom Hanks like 20 times more than I already do. And I didn't think that was possible.
A GIF. Yeah, so the trunks, and then so that was the scene where he gets the radio station.
Yeah. So like he puts all the trunks together. Patricia's passed out, and he's like, well, kind of bored. So he like takes out the radio, and then he is able to get a station. Like, sweet. And it's that song. Dum 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 be dooby dum 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 be dooby dum 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 be dooby dum wow 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 wow. Well, I love you, darling. Come and go with me. Da,
What did I tell you about
da, da.
When
I like that part. I like to sing that.
did you hear my bass?
Come and
Dum,
go
dum,
with
dum.
me. Anyway, it's adorable. But what makes it adorable is that Tom Hanks does this adorable little dance and is so cute and it's just like so wacky that you just like love him like times 25.
I love Tom's spastic dance style. Like it's just like,
And he has this like look on
he
his
does
face
that
of
in
like total abandonment.
yeah. Doesn't he do that in another movie
I
too?
think so.
It just it reminded me.
But
of
my
something.
favorite is the flip.
Yeah, and then he does like this flip thing with his hands.
Well, it's like looking out to sea like this, but he's like.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
has this like look of joy on his face that for some reason like I totally believe that like Tom Hanks is like loving what he's doing.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so definitely remember that scene, and then close related to that, the ukulele. He's got this ukulele that he carries around with him like everywhere. It was in his office for some reason. Not sure he ever got any time to
Foreshadowing,
play
I
that.
think, the trip.
I know. But so he takes out his ukulele and he's like singing this nice song, the Cowboys. What's it called? Maybe the Cowboy. I don't know.
It's like
A
an
Cowboy?
old like
Cowboys?
Home on the Range-y kind of song.
Yeah, it was like Rio Grande. It's
Can
like
you sing it?
I forget. It's like I saw a cowboy coming towards me.
Yippee-yi-ki.
No, I forget.
Icky, icky, yo.
I don't know. It's really good though. Great voice, Tom.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
sounded
I was
good.
very impressed. I don't think I've ever heard him
Yes,
sing.
I was into that. Love that scene. The moon scene where like this giant moon comes out is when he's kind of hallucinating though. So you're like, is this real? But the moon's so big, and actually that part kind of freaked me out too when I was little because I also have like this weird fear of like things that are like way bigger than they're supposed to be.
There's like times when like the moon can look like that though, can it?
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was because it was like the edge, but it's not really. I mean, it's the world is circled, so.
No, I know, but I think there's
It's round.
something where moons can look almost that big, especially when there's no land and there's just like the horizon like that or something. I mean, remember there's times when the moon looks giant.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that?
But if the sun rises in the east, weren't they near the west?
They were sailing towards the east, though. Yeah.
Okay. It's confusing. But yeah, I always remember that part. So then they get to the island, and then the baths part I remembered. This movie is oddly a lot actually like a musical because this scene reminds me of like South Pacific or something. But there's like a guy, so the guys are all attending to Tom Hanks and the ladies are all attending to Meg Ryan, and they sing this song that's like, I forget how that song goes too, but always remember that. And then the dinner scene at the end, they're having like this fest and they're dancing and they've got the masks on. There's this horrifying guy who's wearing a Simon Legree mask.
I don't know what that is.
From The King and I, the like evil Simon, it looks like a Thailand, like a Thai mask or something. And they have these horrible giant fake fingers on that are super long and scary.
They're like bamboo.
Oh my God. I was so freaked out by that guy, and he keeps like saying weird shit, and no one else is saying weird shit, but the guy in the mask is like, like when something happens, and no one else is saying that. Why does he have to say that
I
shit?
don't know. He was really creepy.
I don't know, but those fingers, man, woo, that scares me.
Salad fingers.
If anyone's ever seen Nosferatu, or like there was an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark with like the vampire, and there's this shot of like that vampire's like really long fingers coming over the like this, like the door frame, and the fingers wrap around it.
Speaking of gifts, that's a gift. That is a gift.
It's not a gift, it's a nightmare. But I hate.
You can search that, and I put that on one of my stories one time. It was
Ew,
hilarious.
why?
It's awesome.
But yeah, I hate that, and I hated that guy, so I always remember that, and I think that's it.
Okay, then I almost remember the part. So I always remember that she was in that white dress, which I just loved. And I was like, oh, she's
Just
pretty.
so much more
Very like almost like very Fay Ray, like King Kong, right? So I remember that part where she like follows him up to where he's going to jump off the volcano, and she's like, hold it right there, and like breaks out of the crowd, and she's like, I love you, and they have this kind of like funny exchange. She's like, well, I love you too. I've never loved anybody before, and like that's a great scene. It's just kind of describing love for the first time. They're both kind of like, hadn't fallen in love, and they're in their 30s or something. And so they have this nice moment, and then they get married. So they make Toby, the chief, marry them.
Married, quote unquote. I feel like they should get married, get married again.
I don't think Toby is
I don't know if that
fly
qualifies
with the state of California. And then when they jump into the volcano, so I kind of love that scene for the way they jump. Always like was funny to me because they kind of just like step down into it.
They don't do a countdown.
No.
And I was trying to imagine like if I was in that situation, like it's hard enough for me to jump like into a pool like with someone. I can't imagine being like, okay, now we're gonna jump into the lava.
Oh yeah,
it just freaks me out. It just makes me think of like terrible things.
Well, okay, so as a kid, this always made me think of like I don't know why this was such a kid thing. Like where people would ask, like kids would ask you, like, would you rather die like by jumping in a volcano, probably from this movie, or like freezing to death in like the Arctic? Did anyone ever ask you that?
I think you asked me that.
I think about it all the time. Is that weird?
Why are those the only two options?
Because it's like hot and cold.
Yeah, but,
would you rather burn to death instantly or freeze to death slowly? Obviously, burn to death instantly, right?
If it's instant, what if it's not? What if you're like Anakin Skywalker and you're like, oh, now my legs are gone. You don't know. And then you burn up and all of a sudden you're a machine. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's horrifying. But luckily, they get spit out of the volcano.
And that graphic's pretty funny when they do get spit out because it's like super fake. And then they turn into like a rocket ship. And they're not like burned or anything at all.
They're just like a little sooty.
Fuck happened?
They're a little sooty. And if really they had gotten shot out of the volcano and then fallen into the water, they'd be dead, like falling like at that rate of speed, like from that height, right? Yeah. I feel like that's inaccurate. But they're already dead because this whole thing is just a death dream. Yeah. Like I said, that's my hypothesis.
But they think like they thought that they maybe were dead, I guess, but then they realized because they were both there and they were still hanging out. I'm
just more concerned that like nobody like is sad about all the people on the island dying. Like they don't even say that.
I think they got off. They had all those little boats.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they would have seen them in the boats. They would have been like, "We're saved. These people have boats."
They floated away in their orange soda cans. Hello, they made boats out of those. They're metal.
Did not get out in time. That island went down.
You need a sequel
in like 5 seconds.
What happened to the Wampani Woo?
They're all dead. They're dead. They couldn't swim. They drank too much orange soda.
That's so dark.
They all got diabetes and died.
Why do you have to be so dark, Joe? You got a brain cloud?
I could have a brain cloud. No, but
I think it's mono. Turns out I was just really bored.
Yeah. So the hypochondria stuff is funny because he is super miserable and he's like having symptoms, but he's not sick. If you're a hypochondriac, do you have symptoms? Don't you just think you do?
They're not think you do, or there. Is it like psychosomatic?
Like you manifest
which like we have all the time.
We do?
I definitely do.
Well, for me, it's more of like like when I had my anxiety issues, like I was sick all the time, but it was like a mental reason why. Like there was nothing physically wrong with my body. It was just like my anxiety. So I kept thinking of that with Joe.
This is what I think hypochondria is because this is like how I relate it to myself. Because let's remember the times I've been like, "Ow, my back hurts. It must be my kidneys are shutting down." That's like what hypochondria is. I feel like you like something is wrong with you and you jump like to the worst thing possible, right?
Yeah, but more
like it's definitely cancer or like I have a headache. I must have a brain tumor.
I mean, I think I have a brain. I hit my head really hard the other day and I started getting the migraines. So when I get migraines, usually it's from the right side I can't see, and like my vision blocks out. But this time it was the left side. So I was like, oh my God, what does that mean? Yeah. Like it's usually the migraines are only on one side. Yep. So I was convinced I was dying. Oh, yeah. I was convinced it was a brain tumor.
I constantly think either I'm having liver failure or kidney failure.
You can feel my bump later on my head. It's pretty big.
But then it goes away, and I'm like, oh,
I know.
no.
Yeah, I
guess it
remember
wasn't
one
that.
time I would like something in my stomach hurt, and I went up to Dad, and I was like, Dad, and I was like clutching my side, and I was like, I think I have appendicitis. Like, this hurts really bad. And he's like, your appendix is on your other side. And I was like, oh.
Time, because I have like a lot of stomach issues because I have my gluten allergy, et cetera, and so forth. So I was having like kind of some like gas issues. So it did like make my intestines feel like it was really painful. So I did go to the doctor, and I was like, I don't know, like, what if, I'm like questioning the doctor, which you should probably never do. But I was like, could it be like a rupture or something? Because it just feels like something's like, like broken here or something. I'm talking like my intestinal tract, by the way. She's like, if your intestinal tract burst or you had a tear there, like you would fall over and not be able to function. Like you can't like go on during your daily life. Like it'd be so painful. Like you would fucking
that's
know.
what I always say about, because I always think I have appendicitis because I'm like, well, I live alone. Like, who's going to like take care of me? What if I pass out from this appendicitis and then it bursts and I die? Like, I have a lot of dark thoughts.
I think you get really, really sick.
So that's what I always say to myself.
Like you're throwing up and you can't
move. I would be
move.
really ill if this was the case. So I'm always rest assured that is fine.
And I think with honestly any kind of organ failure, that's pretty much what happens. Like you would know. It's not like you're going to be walking through life and being like, it's just going to fail and then you're going to be able to do stuff. Like you pass out, you throw up,
and then I'm like,
fever.
Then I get more concerned about the things that are like create like those like brain aneurysms that just happen like out of nowhere and
you
then
can't
it's
control
done.
that. Yeah.
But man, it's like when I watched The Exorcist and I was like, any minute now the demon's coming in. Same thing, brain aneurysm.
That's why you got to live every day like there's no tomorrow.
Well, is someone going to give me a bunch of credit cards so I can buy a bunch of shit?
Seriously.
Because like that would be cool.
That would be awesome. I mean, when I was watching that scene where he's like drinking a martini in a bar and going shopping all day and whatever, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. But not if you had to die in like 5 months though. But
yeah,
he didn't.
But he was using someone else's cards anyway.
Yeah,
so it's not like he had to pay it
That's
back.
true.
But he doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
Which is good because that job sucked.
Yeah, because what would you buy? Like, bunch of random shit probably like he did.
I mean, I'd probably definitely like eat a lot of stuff. Trips would be a great thing because you're like,
If you could squeeze them in.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe buy like a really awesome car and drive it around.
You wouldn't buy a scarf with goldfish on it?
No. Or a giant umbrella. Woo! Can't wait to go crazy with this red and white striped umbrella.
I want to know what else was in the
What about
trunks.
a putt-putt kit?
Putt-putt? Oh my god, the saddest part though is that the wind blows it over the trunks.
I don't understand
and
how.
it's gone forever.
Okay, how did he make a hole?
Well, there was already one. It's cut into the green, so I think
And
it was
went
just
in between the trunks.
I guess.
Okay,
I
because
don't
I
know.
didn't get like where that ball was supposed to
that's
go.
a good question. I'm not 100% confident in my answer, but
Rewind.
I feel like it could be the right answer.
You look like a piece of shit stuffed in a cheap suit. I
That's
like
a
that
good one. Yeah, I like his little outburst. I'm sad his boss doesn't let him have his little like happiness lamp.
I know that lamp was adorable. Also foreshadowing basically like the whole movie.
Yes.
And remember when he was packing up his desk and then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to take these books with me: Robinson Crusoe, Romeo and Juliet, and
The Odyssey.
The Odyssey."
I did notice that. Like all things that are about to happen, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool little things like that.
Some people think it's like a lot of a couple Wizard of Oz references because you have like a yellow brick road and
What's
like
the yellow brick road?
Well, there's like twisty road, that twisty road or that jagged road thing
It was
is like a
yellow?
symbol and everything. Well, it's yellow like sometimes. So it was when they went up the volcano because it was all filled with the lights. And then they give the example of Meg Ryan playing 3 of the characters.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, is this real?
Right.
Is he just like creating these? It's just one, and then he just keeps imagining it's her and her again, and he keeps being like, "Have I ever told you the first time I saw you, I felt like I had met you before?"
Right,
Like,
but he
was
said
there
that-
somebody before Dee Dee?
Right, because he said that to the first lady, but that was the first one you really see. Interesting.
No. After Castle Rock, my head's just like,
Yep.
what's gonna happen
What
here?
is up?
Lots of possibilities.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like this is like a really fun. This is like a good rainy day Saturday, grilled cheese and tomato soup. Like hang out on your couch and just like remember this movie and like ingest it and watch it definitely now if you've seen it when you were little because you're gonna see much more
it's a whole
deeper
different movie,
parts to
whole
this.
different
Yeah,
movie.
really a whole different movie. I soup enjoyed that.
Soups.
Soups.
Did you have any conflicting feelings though about the like kind of whitewashing of the like these like tribal people played by like white people?
Well, if you remember, like the mix of the races
I know
on
that.
so like these Roman and I don't know soldiers, but then they had Celtic. They had a bunch of other people on the ship, and they got lost and they landed in Wampani Woo, and they named it Wampani Woo. It was like island with a big volcano. It means apparently, and so it's supposed to be a mix of a bunch of different people. So got types, ethnic groups.
Yeah.
So Polynesian, Celtic, Roman, and Hebrew, because like all the sailors, slept with all the women. Did a mixed tribe, so that's why you have like Abe Vigoda as like Toby, which I think is supposed to be sort of like a Roman Jewish, or even Nathan Lane I think is supposed to like symbolize the Jewish side of it.
Yeah, I mean that obviously went right over my head when I was little.
Right.
And yeah, I guess that's a clever way to like get out of it. But yeah. Sad though that like most movies don't have that little loophole.
Yeah,
it is just whitewashed.
I think, but there were a lot of Polynesian-looking people though.
Well, yeah, that's why it was mostly Polynesian people, and then 2 people that were like clearly not. And maybe I'm sure most of them weren't. They just had all that makeup on, so you couldn't really tell. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's just crazy. Like in this time, we're so like aware of that stuff now. I'm like, my ears perk up. I'm like, is this appropriate? No. But I guess you're right. I guess it's okay. Anything else? Do you know what a flibbertigibbet is? Flibbertigibbet?
A flibbertigibbet? No, just like a flaky person. Yeah. So wait, we're in 2018. So this movie is 28 years old. Is that crazy?
I mean, I'll believe it based on like some of the decor. Where was it? Oh, sorry, no, I'm mixing it up with the Smash Club and Full House. But like the chairs.
Why would you bring that up?
Because I was watching that episode today, and I was thinking of like how 90s the like decor of that was.
Club.
But like this was
the LA stuff was kind of
bleak.
That what do we call that? Art Deco.
Yeah. Art Deco. I actually really liked Angelica's like glitter bustier. I'm really into that actually. Yeah, I mean, I'll believe it, but it's not super dated though.
No, it isn't, and it's so quirky that you're like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like I feel like it will have a long life.
And no one's like clothes. I mean, Angelica's clothes were like a little bit.
Well, they seem more 80s.
Yeah, just like flashy and cheap.
Yeah.
You know that like cheap. What we talk about when it's like actually supposed to be like really expensive, but, like really expensive clothes in the 80s and 90s look like cheap as
like
hell.
Yeah, totes. Anything else?
Anything else? Something good. Sorry, there's this like Caribbean restaurant that used to be down the street.
Yeah.
That was called Something Good.
Yeah, I know.
Ting spelled
I see that
Ting.
when I go by it.
Something good, man. Kind of racist.
It is. Well, I mean, if white people made it.
Oh, they were Caribbean.
Okay, then it's fine.
They were from the Caribbean.
Yeah, so guys, we got a car today. So, good times.
Coming to a town near you, Sweetie Club. Toot toot.
It's really not important.
Yeah,
Not important
beep, beep.
to the episode, but we're just really excited about it because now we can drive home from podcasting with each other, and that's really exciting. Yeah, good times. So, yeah, we're back. I hope we did okay. I don't know.
Yeah, we're feeling a little rusty, but
I
you
feel
know,
rusty.
we're not traveling anymore for this year, so we're just gonna be rolling out the episodes.
Right.
So feel free to pop us requests. We've been like, I mean, it's always kind of a struggle on what movie we're gonna do because there's so many to choose from.
You keep saying that word struggle. I wouldn't call it a struggle. I think it's like good that we have a lot of options, and I'm excited by most of them.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's not like we're like, what possible movie could we do?
No, that's what I'm saying. There's
still have
tons
so
of
many.
them, and we still have so many. But like, it's almost like, what direction? What do we want to go this week?
I think we should just put all of the movies we have yet to do in a hat, and every week we'll just
I love
pull
the
one
hat
out.
strategy because then we don't have to have the discussion.
Okay, we'll do it.
Okay.
All right.
Wish you could have like. Is there a program online that's called like a virtual hat where you can just put? Really?
Sure.
Let's find that because I don't want to make all the pieces of paper and
don't
get a
have
hat.
to make all the pieces, but I do like doing that. It's fun.
It is fun.
But yes, we'll investigate that.
We could do some live pickings.
Woo! On the computer, click the button. And what is it? See, it's so anticlimactic.
Technological.
Yeah. But anyways, cool. All right, so glad to be back. Thanks for listening. You can catch us on Twitter at the Sweetie Club or on Instagram at Large Marge Sent Us. Thank you, as always, for listening.
Bye.
Bye.